Oh, damn! You can edit this whole thing. I'm turning this off.
If I'm working on a script, like I'll set 1 to 5 pages or 1 to 10 pages, and then I leave it alone and I walk away from it and I do something else. I live life. I go about my business because what I've learned is my creativity isn't happening while I'm writing. My creativity is happening while my mind is resting, while my mind is doing something else, while my mind is being inspired by life, whatever my life is, and whatever I'm interacting with.
What's like, I guess, the biggest piece of advice you would give a new writer?
Um, don't try to don't try to crank it out. Like when I was younger, for sure. Like I would just write for hours. like I'm going away at. I'm crushing this thing. right. Um, but now, like I really like don't crank it out. Take your time. You know, feel the pulse of the story. Know the characters. Hear their voices. You know, you have to do that so that you're not the writer speaking in the story. You want the characters to speak. And for me, like I I now section off like how I write scripts. Like if I'm working on a script, like I'll set like maybe like 1 to 5 pages or 1 to 10 pages, and then I leave it alone and I walk away from it and I do something else. I live life. I go about my business because what I've learned is my creativity isn't happening while I'm writing. My creativity is happening while my mind is resting, while my mind is doing something else, while my mind is being inspired by life, whatever my life is, and whatever I'm interacting with. So, my advice would be don't be afraid. Well, one, don't crank anything out. Don't be afraid to go through a process and figure out what your process is and and develop it. You don't have to be a prolific or good or decent or great writer. You don't have to be cranking stuff out. It's about the time spent uh, knowing the craft and really becoming intimate with the story.
That
Mhm.
was well said. I don't think I've heard that. Or I don't think I've heard it put that way. That the creativity is percolating when you're when you're taking those breaks. That's well said.
Yeah,
Because I'll do something very great advice,
cool.
very similar. Um, or I guess I won't sit there and bang it out. Right. I'll if I am in the zone writing, I'll try. Maybe I'll try and finish the scene, and the scene might
Hmm.
only be a few pages, like you said, 5 to 10 pages. Usually less, maybe five-ish, but I'll try and finish that if anything. Like when and I'll struggle sometimes to hit that end, hit that scene. If it's a few
Hmm.
pages more, I'll push myself a little bit to just get the first draft down. And because it's kind of fresh, I need to finish that scene, but I won't. I usually don't consecutively, especially in the script phase. I don't like to sit there and then move on to another scene in the issue or in the
Right.
chapter because I think, yeah, to your point, yeah, life is happening all around us, and while I'm in here and I'm in the zone, we do need breaks from it, and those breaks, yeah, I'm still as I'm talking, I'm thinking about what you said. Those breaks are when the creativity happens because I could feel burnt if I am sitting and pushing myself to really finish something. I'll feel burnt out a lot quicker than normal. So
Hmm.
getting away, I don't getting off either the computer or away from the notepad and getting out and maybe going to the garden, and, doing some work in the
Yep.
backyard or doing some housework that my wife has queued up for me or things that I have to get to. That stuff,
Uh,
or even going for a
you
walk
froze
or
on me.
a bike ride.
And you were saying some good stuff too.
Oh, damn! You can edit this whole thing. I'm turning this off. Yeah.
you left off on going to the garden.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, so I have I live in New Jersey, so I have a little bit of I have a nice bit of space in the backyard, so enough to where if it's the season, I can go out and just getting in the backyard or doing yard work especially. Like maybe not barefoot, but getting in the dirt with my hands, like just things that are not writing.
Mm-hmm.
Um Going for a walk or even exercise, which I do much more frequently, infrequently, excuse me, than
I
I would,
understand.
right, than I would like. But just to your point, getting away from the writing and the social media and the
Mm-hmm.
business, like getting away from all that, I think you're right. I think that energizes you because if you sat here and just wrote, type, Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, this is what I'm working on now, whatever you're doing, that man, that really, I mean, that drains you. So getting
It
out and
does.
doing things that you enjoy or doing things that require you to focus on that activity, like so the
Mm-hmm.
gardening, or
Yep.
I'm actually looking forward to in a week or so. We started indoors. We planted little, tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, like
Oh,
in the
cool.
house. I had the
That's
kids
cool.
doing it, so we have it growing inside. So I'm looking forward to getting in the backyard, and I have a little plot, 10 by uh, 3 or 4 little rectangle, but just getting in
That's
there with the shovel and maybe spending 2 hours tilling it up, mixing some fertilizer.
nice.
Because when you're doing that, at least when I'm doing that, that's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
It's you're just the phone's away. I might have music
Yep.
on in the background, but the industry and the writing, like that stuff is on the back burner, and
Yeah.
you get so much out of just doing something, and it doesn't have to be gardening, but getting away and doing something completely different. Like I was saying, housework, chores that my wife has queued up, fix this, things that I've been letting sit in the back burner.
Oh,
But
I
man,
know.
that was well said. I
I,
feel
I
that.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, I like how you said it, and that's yeah. I mean, I feel like we're on the same page with that, and yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's you saying what you said just reaffirms for me, like my experiences. So it just only emboldens, like yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking like, okay, I can't wait for my break tomorrow where I'm gonna go. Yeah, so like we went for a walk, like me and my 3 kids, like we just I tried to finish up at a certain time, and we just walked around the block and we talked. The youngest rode her scooter, and it's no riding, it's no anything. It's just life, just living life.